Well, today, my friends, on Singleton Cheat Code Cooking, we are doing a delicious, famous Burnham salad. And I'll explain why it's a Burnham salad when we get to the end of this. But we're starting off with the basic ingredient, which is baked potatoes. And rule of thumb, it comes in a packet of 6 like this. You probably want 2. It comes in a packet of 4, they're bigger, and you can probably get away with 1. I had 1 left in here, bizarrely. Not quite sure why. So I've gone for 1 from there, and then the smallest one out of here, which gives me 2. And what I'm going to do with these, if I position this thusly, is I am going to smear a little bit of butter on there for a bit of extra crispiness. Now, of course, what we're looking for is minimum effort and minimum washing up. So I've put silver foil in there, which means that when I'm finished, I can just chuck it away without washing it up. And this is what this is all about. So yeah, a little bit of a smear like that. Ta-da-da-da. And this will of course melt when it's in the oven and make them nice and crispy. Oh yes, that's what we want. So that is that. Dead easy. They go on there. Let me grab this little device here. We have the oven set to, here we go, oven is on and we're set at 200. And the time is just coming up. I can't see that very well because it's flickering. Here we go, I'll show you here. It's just coming up on 5 o'clock. Okay, so these are going to go in the middle of here. This is where they roll around and turn upside down if you're not careful. Oh, looking good, looking good. Get in. Oh, some warmth in there. That's it. That is stage 1 complete. And let's turn this way, we'll get a little bit better light. There we go. Stage 1 is complete. We've now got an hour before you do anything else. You can wander off, poke at your phone, gaze lovingly at your car, and do all those things that you can't do when you're not single. I'll come back to you in an hour. Oh. Look at that. 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. 367 brake horsepower, 3 litre, twin turbo. And nobody to say, it's not very practical, is it? And do you know what else you can have if you're single? Anything you like. While we're in the garage, this is my step ladder. I never knew my real ladder. Let's go and do some more cooking. It is now 6 o'clock, nearest time it. So the potatoes are looking like this. Now I should point out that people always say when you put potatoes in the oven you should stab them with a fork so they don't burst. They've never burst. Alright, they burst once, but it's rare, so I don't bother. But you can if you want. Who's stopping you? Right, eggs. Eggs is next. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to get a pan out. Small pan. There we go. I don't think I was pointing the camera at the drawer then, but not to worry. It's always a bit trickier with only one hand because I'm holding a GoPro. But I've got a little stand for it, so we're good. Okay, that much water in there. It's going to go on there. Let's make a bit of heat under it. Try again. There we go. And in here, we've got all the snacks. Eggs. Of which there are, best before 20th. We are 21st. I think we'll be okay. They do say if you put them in water and they float on their end, you shouldn't use them. Which that one is kind of doing a little bit. Can you see it? Because it means there's air in there and that means they're going off. Do you know what? Perhaps we'll use some new ones just to be on the safe side. But I think they'd be alright, to be honest. They're only 1 day out. That one's alright, isn't it? I can't just use 1 because another odd number. That's what happened with the other thing, isn't it? The potatoes. Right, I did buy some more. Okay, I think they'd have been alright, but these ones you see will float flat. Look at that. They're not standing up on end. Perfect. Right, they're doing their thing. Then we're going to make quietly disappear. And they're going to go back in the fridge. There's a lot of argument as to whether you should keep eggs in the fridge or not. And it's been very sensibly pointed out you don't have them in the fridge when you go and buy them in the shop. But then I think shops are always kept cool, so I don't know. I keep them in the fridge. Right, we're going to wait for that to come to the boil. When it comes to the boil, we're going to turn it down and let it simmer boiling for 10 minutes. Which some people would argue is a bit long, but I actually find that's fine. And in the meantime, we're going to do tuna salad cream mix. I like the tuna in brine. Need a can opener. This type are brilliant. I'll show you why in a moment. And we need some salad cream. Back in the fridge again. There it is. Heinz, obviously. And yeah, let's drain some water off of here. I'm just showing you everything, just in case you've never ever done this before. There are people who found themselves single, who've never been single. Hang on, let's stand this up. There we go. And so, I think it's helpful to show every part of the process. What I do is I run the hot tap very gently like that, and then I get this like this. This goes on here. Look how cool this is. That's brilliant, isn't it? Put it at an angle so it will drain as it kind of drips. That's why I've got the water running, so it doesn't kind of congeal. It goes down the plug hole, and then I give it a bit of a squeeze. Not too much. You don't want all the moisture out, but a fair bit of it. There we go, like so. Give that a bit of a burst, and then if I bring you over here, what we're going to do now is get a bowl, take that off of there. You need to get a little bit of a like that, and it breaks the bit that's left because it's still attached by a thread. Come on, there we go. Scrape that in there. Hose that little bit off there quickly. That can go in the recycling. Need a fork. We're going to spoon that. I can do it this way round because I'm left-handed, so this isn't easy. But I want to show you. You know how to spoon things out, don't you? For goodness sake. There we are. Let's get that last bit. Sorry, I'm going to have to go back to being left-handed again. Marvellous. Okay, and then we want salad cream. Nice healthy dollop of that. And then can we see that all right? So we can. A bit of a stab with a fork and a bit of a mix up. To taste. I'm going to put a touch more in and make it just a little bit more salad creamy. You can do this with mayonnaise, I believe. But I've always done it with salad cream. That's it. That is delicious. Nice. Okay, next cheat code. Put that in the fridge. Get rid of that in a minute. Next cheat code now is to have a thing of hot water. Wait for that to warm up a little bit. A little bit of washing up liquid. Let that fill up. And then we just chuck stuff in there as we go and let it soak, and that makes the washing up much easier. Right, these badgers are just starting to come to the boil. You see here, you've got the little bubbles there, and they're starting to bubble around the eggs. That is the point. I'm just going to go a little bit further, where we are going to turn the heat down, and we're going to start a countdown. I need 2 hands for this. Hang on. Use whatever you like, but I use this, so I'm going to go to clocks, active timer, quick timer, 10, counting down. Okay, so that's counting down the eggs. Oh, we've turned in a bit too much. There we go. A little bit more heat. There we go. That's where we want them doing that now. And it will take 10 minutes. I've seen people say you should do it in 6 minutes. I've always found 10 works for me, so there it is. Stick with that. Okay, stuff that we've used as we go along, we're just going to chuck in this sink full of bubbles. I put a bit too many bubbles in there, didn't I? Never mind. Let's talk that a bit. Hang on. There we are. That can go in. We'll stick that in. And we do this as we go along. See them bubbling away. And then, let's put that there. What have we got? Look at this, brand new wash up. That's what that is. You'd be impressed. Take that out, give it a quick, like that, chuck it under there, pop it in there. And the thing is, you don't need to dry it. It's another job you don't need to do. You stick it in there, nice and warm, give it a swill off, leave it. Half an hour later, put it back on the shelf. Same with all of this stuff. You need to wipe it up. Wipe it dry, whatever. There we go. But yeah, do this as you go, and then it's done, isn't it? It's quick and it's easy. That's that. Right. Good. Lovely. Okay, the thing to do with these now is drain the water off, thusly, and then what you want to do is whack in a load of cold water to stop your wash from leaking. Hang on. There we go. Okay, what you're trying to do here is cool the eggs down as fast as possible, and I'll explain why that is important. What I used to do is get a pan of very cold water and tip them straight into that. And the reason I don't do that anymore is because that was, of course, an extra pan to wash. Who needs that? So now I'll just do this. You run it for a bit, because these do actually, because everything's hot, you want it all to cool down quickly. If you just put a bit of cold water in, the water just warms up because everything's hot. But that is properly cold. So I'm going to leave that now for a minute, maybe 2 minutes. And while we're doing that, I'm going to grate some cheese. Okay, let's get my trusty little device here on the lined up. There we are. It's the very first one of these I've done, so it is a bit ad hoc, but you know, so is everything else I do on video, so no change there, is there? Let's get a cheese grater. Now, there are many sides to a cheese grater. You will only ever use this one. Only ever. I don't know why the others are there. Right, I'm sure you know how to grate cheese, but let me just wash my hands again. To be on the safe side, that's why that bowl of water is so useful. You can use it for all sorts of things. Yeah, you just literally take your grater, that side, only ever that side, and you slide that up and down, and the grated cheese comes out the bottom. I'll show you that bit. There we are. That'll do. Get all the cheese out of there, and then chuck it in your bowl of, they said boil of, chuck it in your bowl of water and leave it to soak. Leave everything to soak. Leaving stuff to soak is the bomb. Right, that's that done. Let's put that cheese away. Pack up, tidy up as you're going along. It's the only way. Alrighty. Let's move that out of the way for a moment. Now we're going to get them eggs. So I've taken an egg out, and let's get a bowl, put it in. I've taken an egg out, and this one's actually started to crack already. You can see that very well. There we go. So, but if it doesn't crack, you just give it a bit of a tap, and then it will. And then you can start peeling it off. Now, the whole point of that cold water thing is because it creates a skin, like a membrane. There it is. Can you see it? That. And it means if you can get underneath that, the shell comes off really, really easily, all together. So you're not trying to pick those a bit. Look at that. See? That is the whole point of that cooling business. It's brilliant, isn't it? And then that just slides off. Look at that. Jobs are good 'un. That there is a splendid egg. Let's do the other one. Okay, this one's not cracked. That bowl is now in the washing up water, soaking. Soaking is the key to everything. Same deal. Got the membrane going. It all comes off. Look at that. It is bizarrely satisfying. Bob Mortimer reckons he can do this using that membrane thing in one go, the whole lot. Right, they're going in the look at that, lovely, in the fridge, just to cool down a little bit. They are pretty cold already. That's going in the bin. And our bowl of water, with everything soaking, means that that grater now is pretty much clean. Look, see? The joy of soaking. Done. This is what this is all about, effortlessness. That doesn't need much washing obviously because it's only boiled some eggs, but we will do anyway. Give that a swirl. Chuck it on there and it can drain. Clean up, wash up as you go. Right. Got my cheese. What I want now is some ham. This is what I use from Sainsbury's. You see that very well? There we go. Breaded ham. Taste the difference. Lovely. 21st of April, which is today. 2 slices of ham. It's all coming apart. Right, that's on it. There we go. It's all about presentation, folks. In the bin with that. Tuna. Get the tuna out. Get the fork. Tunas go in there. Lay it out however you wish. Fantastic. In the sink with that. To soak. Get the hang of it now. Perfect. And then we want potatoes. Ooh, yes. Let's see how these are doing. Now we need, very, very important, use one of these because this is properly hot now. There we go, that can turn off. It's now, well you can see that, I'll show you this one. It's about another 25 minutes has gone past. So if you think about it, the actual cooking time really, we've stuck these in and then walked away. It's taken about 20 minutes to make this. A bit longer because I've been fiddling around. There we go. If I turn the little light back on, you can see them nestling in there, look at that. And not burst. Now that tray doesn't want washing. When it cools down, I'll probably leave that in there actually because it can absorb. If I do pork chops, for example, then it's fine. It can work as it is. These are hot, so I usually get a little bit of kitchen roll because it's, you know, it's hygienic, it's new, it's fresh. And hook them across with that. There we are. Now sometimes at this point, because we are virtually done, I wander in and eat it, and when I've finished it I think, oh no, there's eggs in the fridge. Important to remember the eggs. There you go, vital ingredient. Now people wonder why this is called a Burnham salad. Oh look, there's a little bit of that on there. There we go. And the reason it's a Burnham salad is because it doesn't have any of that rabbit food, green stuff. You can if you want, and you can buy it all sort of pre-prepared salady stuff, you know, tomatoes and lettuce and God knows what. If you're a girl, you might decide that you want that to go with it. Well, buy some of that when you're in Sainsbury's and chuck it on the plate. Happy days. I'm a chap, so clearly we don't eat that sort of stuff. I'm going to have one of those. What else do I need? I need a bit of butter, which I'll take in with me. And pretty much all the washing up is done. We could, if we wanted to, while we're going past, just simply grab those, give them a spin and a rinse, chuck them on there. That's the tuna one. Clean as a whistle, because it's been soaking for 5 minutes. Cheat codes! That's what this is all about. There we are. Give my hands another bit of a wipe. That's it. That's dinner. Lovely. And there it is. Serving suggestions, a bit of butter in the old potatoes there, a nice orange squash, a copy of Top Gear magazine because there's no one to tell you off for reading at the table, and we are good to go. And the reason that it's called a Burnham salad is, of course, because it has salad cream on it. Every other meal has tomato ketchup, with the exception of a roast dinner, of course, which has nothing. But this has salad cream and is therefore officially a salad. I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. That's my first Singleton cheat code meal. I'm going to hopefully do other stuff. Let me know what you'd like to see, and we'll catch you later. Time to eat. Yum yum. Bye bye.